Alright, what is up everyone? Welcome back to the channel. My name is Chris and today I'm back with another video here. So, tonight the Flyers lose this game 4-3 in overtime. They now fall to 5-2-1 on the year. Honestly, I wasn't that mad at this game. I honestly thought this was one of the Flyers' better games of the year so far. I thought there were some good things. I thought there were some bad things. You know, I feel like there's this whole thing, like, with this team right now, that everything is going to be nitpicked, and everything is going to be like, you know, the constant, like, small little picking of every little thing. And it's like, it kind of like, and it's like, oh, well, that carried over from that game and this from that. And it's like, it just gets old sometimes to me. And I'm just like, can we just focus on tonight? Some of the stuff I was reading was just like, dude, like, I don't know. I've talked about last video that this team kind of deserves some credit, and I think Torts he kind of understands that too. I think, like, the way he was talking in the post game presser, like, you know the glass, glass half full, not half empty kind of thing. Like, that's kind of what I'm getting at too, is like, everything is like, oh, this is bad and this is bad and this is bad. They've done good things too, and I feel like everything has just been, well, ... and this is kind of where I was saying last video, so that kind of explains my thought process from the last game as well. But as for tonight, lines were a little bit different. Obviously, Bellows comes in, he plays his first game as a Flyer. I didn't think he was great tonight. I didn't really think he wasn't too noticeable. He had one pretty good play where he tried for Frost in the middle of the ice later in the third. Drew a penalty as well. Outside of that, I kind of thought he just played it safe, and I think that was probably smart. I mean, it was his first game, so, you know, he didn't even really practice yesterday. It was an optional skate, so there's that too. So Farabee with Hayes and Konechny, Noah Cates with Lawton and Tippett, Bellows with Frost and McEwen, Delorier with Sedlak and Allison. The official line sheet, it had McEwen on the fourth line and Allison on the third line, but that ended up getting switched in warm-ups. Defense was Provorov, D'Angelo, Sanheim, and Braun, Sealer, and Risto, and Carter Hart was in net for this one. Those were a little bit different too, because Braun ended up playing with Sealer and Risto was with Sanheim. As for the first period, it wasn't a great first. Flyers found themselves down 2-0. I didn't think the first 10 minutes were bad. It was like a soft goal from Stahl that, like, trickles in. And the Flyers had a couple looks. They had a 3-on-1 early. They didn't get a shot off of it, and Carolina ended up getting a power play. The Flyers had a couple good plays on the penalty kill to kind of kill that one off. Lawton had a good play to steal it. Konechny dangled in for a chance shorthanded. Pretty good penalty. They were blocking shots. They were aggressive. Farabee and Noah Cates were involved. So overall, they killed that one off, and just a tough goal. And in the first period, it's been too much of them getting stuck in their own zone and kind of stuck in, you know, they've had one turnover that leads to another, and they just can't get it out after that. And that happened a lot in the first. So 1-0 Carolina, Stahl scores off the play that rolls in. I thought they played well since the goal, and then the Flyers had a power play. It was probably the best power play all year. They didn't score, but the crispest power play. They passed the puck. They had so many chances, especially from the first unit. It was Tippett. I thought Tippett was probably the best Flyer tonight, outside of the goal. I thought he was great. I thought there were a lot of good things from Tippett tonight. He's played well since coming back. I thought in general that power play was just moving the puck. They had a play where Konechny over to Tippett right in front for Lawton and just missed the post on the tip in front. Second unit didn't really do much. Frost had a failed entry on that one. It was a turnover. Then Carolina would get a power play off of an interference call from Ristolainen, which is a bad penalty to take. You're already in your zone. You know, you're stuck there, and for no reason he just slams into Martinook. It's just a stupid penalty, just a dumb penalty. They didn't get any chances. They didn't score. They had a couple looks, but nothing really too crazy. Konechny ended up running into D'Angelo coming back, and that looked scary because he looked hurt. He did come out after that. He was skating at the TV timeout. He's fine. After that, it was more Carolina pressure. They were in the zone. They were creating, turnovers. They were winning a lot of the battles low against the Flyers, and that's what they were doing through most of that first period. Martinook would score a gorgeous play. Sealer dives, and it everything is so. Like, I feel like every player now is so soft with the puck that it doesn't really matter if you dive regardless, because they'll probably get it over you, and this was pretty much what that was. Now, there are instances where if you get it and it's more of the reaction kind of play, obviously everybody understands that. So, 2-0. There was another penalty late. Flyers ended up killing that one off. So, the problem with the first period was you put yourself into penalty trouble. And I actually thought after the first goal and that power play, the Flyers actually had some momentum, but it was a bad penalty that kind of turned the tide of that first. That's at least through my eyes. Again, a lot of turnovers, though. That's been the issue through most of the year. Very good second period, though. They got a power play early on a delay game. They didn't really do much with it. Tippett had a nice back check on a play that was almost a breakaway for Teravainen. Nick Delorier scores. Beautiful goal. I mean, it's exactly what you want from the fourth line. Allison wins the puck battle along the wall, down the Sedlak, heads up play, sends it right over to Delorier, slam dunk in front, deflects off of Ronta and in, 2-1. Just a great hockey goal when Delorier scores his first as a Flyer. I personally, I've really liked Delorier. I've liked what he's brought to the team. There's been some plays where it's been a little kind of hold your breath-ish, like when in the defensive zone, kind of like not getting the puck out right away, but that's not just been him, and that's not like against him either. It's just sometimes it can be looked at as that way. Flyers will get a penalty, and this is the one where Bellows would draw the penalty and the Flyers score. 2-2, Tippett scores in tight, beautiful play. Konechny in the bumper, feeds it down low for Tippett. Tippett, he's been really, really good in the instance of, I feel like his skating has been better since coming back. He's been definitely more engaged. Defensively, he had a couple really nice plays tonight. He had the one on the penalty, or on the power play. And then in overtime, he had one that kind of stopped Brady Shea coming into the zone on the rush. So he had a couple nice defensive plays in this game. Obviously, scores here. He's looked really good since coming back. The Canes had a chance in tight. Then they would get a power play after the goal. Farabee had a good clear. They were being pretty aggressive at the line. Hart had a nice save in front on Jarvis. But outside of that, no goals. Flyers kill that one off. Then the Flyers will get their own power play. Not much really from the first unit. Couple passes. So a couple power plays here. Then the Flyers get another one. Cross check. And I put here that they needed to be better than last time. Looked like they were going to. They hit the crossbar right off the ensuing faceoff of a shot from D'Angelo. And unfortunately, if that goes in, the Flyers, again, 3 back. And, you end up going up 3-2 in that period. Farabee had a chance late where he just misses up high. Outside of that, pretty good period. The Flyers owned Carolina in that period. They got 2 goals, one from the fourth line. They would get another from the fourth line in the third period. They had a couple chances early, connecting off of breakaway. Bellows, again, that play from Bellows, he had that nice pass for Frost, but he was checked as soon as he went to shoot. 3-2. Allison would score off of a couple shifts in a row where the Flyers had chances. Farabee had a chance in tight off of an original turnover by Hayes in the zone that went up the other way, and Farabee had the chance. Frost had a chance off the rush. He didn't score there. And then 3-2. Allison scores. A nice play by Sedlak to kind of just hold it and wait for Allison, and it was a beautiful pass, gets it right over, ends up trickling in. 3-2. So the Flyers have a 3-2 lead, and it was kind of, it felt like the game was going to kind of end like a 3-2 win, and then Carolina just surprised, because Lawton had a chance on a 2-on-1, D'Angelo was cutting in the net, Hayes had a sweet feed, almost scored. The Flyers were still getting chances. I thought they were playing well. Then they get the power play with like 4 minutes left. It's like, all right, you're 2 minutes left. They didn't really do much on that power play. And Nate just scores off of a weird goal, because it's like, I felt like Hart was kind of deep in the net. You have 3 guys on him. It's like that close to being offside, but still a good play. I believe it was Brent Burns who held the skate. And Nate just fires it. And he can shoot. So it's unfortunate. So they tie the game and they go to overtime, and the Hurricanes ended up calling a timeout with 50 seconds left. They had an offensive zone draw. They didn't get anything with it. So we go to OT. Flyers had a chance early. Konechny 2-on-1. And you score there, great. You just get into overtime and you end it. But it was all Carolina in the overtime, and Burns would end up scoring. Hart had a nice save. Hart had a couple nice saves. One on Svechnikov, another one on Natchez, and Burns scores in overtime. Flyers were stuck out there. They couldn't get the puck back, and Burns found himself wide open. He fired it, and he's such a good shooter. And that's why Carolina is so dangerous, especially in 3-on-3. I mean, the guys that they're putting out there every time is like insane. If the Flyers are healthy, it's a little bit different too in 3-on-3. But it's unfortunate, you're happy to get a point, but you left one on the table where you could have had it too. I would have liked to seen Frost in overtime. It's not Lawton, and it's nothing against Lawton. I just rather would have liked to seen Frost in OT. I feel like there's been such a short leash with him throughout most of the season so far. And I know Torch talked about Allison too, so there's a little more that needs to get there. And I think you could see the same with a lot of guys. I just feel like there's a longer leash with some and a shorter leash with others. And Frost, I look at him differently because he's one of the guys that over the years of me watching and covering this team, I've never seen an offensive talent like him. I don't think I have ever seen a guy as offensively gifted as Frost. I mean, I've watched this team from 2013 on, and some of the things that Frost does it literally will make my mouth drop. From the spin moves, the twisting and turning in the offensive zone, just so many good little high IQ plays. I'd like them to go back to the Cates and Frost Tippett line. Put him with Tippett. I mean, I'd like to see him with Tippett to see if they can kind of get some offense going. I mean, if you're looking at line mates, he played some of the Sharks game with Delorier and McEwen. This game, he plays with Bellows in his first game, gets an optional practice in McEwen. It's like, I've never seen it where I just feel like they have no idea how to use him. And I've said this before and I'll say it again. He has such a high IQ and the talent is there, I'm telling you. It's not just, it's there. And I wouldn't be so high on him if it wasn't. Like, I'm saying this is literally from my eyes to my brain. This is how I see the game. Like, he has such a high IQ and a high skill set that I've never seen anything like it. So I would like to see them use him more in another role, more, on the power play and things like that. Like, it's just so unfortunate. It seems like there's a little bit of a disconnect. So we'll see what happens. Let me know your guys' thoughts below. Podcast tomorrow will be at noon for Sunday. Noon tomorrow. Calls and texts are live, so everybody come join in. Going to be talking some Flyers hockey, previewing the week ahead. Got the Rangers Tuesday, Leafs Wednesday, both on the road. Going to be tough. Let me know your guys' thoughts below on tonight's game, and I will talk to you all again soon.